What is a pronunciation error that annoys you? Pacific instead of specific. When people say data instead of data, etc. as etc. Absolutely maddening. What is something humans probably won't ever be able to figure out? What is happening inside a black hole? Just walk up and look inside. Duh. Shine a light in there if it's dark. How to live in peace and respect each other. The true origin of everything. Faster than light travel. The amount of energy needed to warp space enough to travel is astronomical. How it feels to be others. I always find it fascinating how this person sitting in front of me is also thinking. They see things from their side, and they have intentions to do stuff, etc. I don't know how to explain. Like, you can't suddenly just swap into others' body and know what their mind is doing. You can only imagine, but there's no way to actually experience others' mind and body. Edit. I see some have pointed out that this is something called sonder. But after reading a bit explanation on that term, I feel like it isn't really what I'm trying to say. While I do have this feeling as well about how other people on the streets also have their own lives. I'm talking about more of the senses and feelings we different people have while approaching the same thing, and that I have no idea how to experience the exact same thing, which seems so obvious for the person themselves. It's getting complicated. I should stop talking now, lol. How to fold a fitted sheet. How do married people with kids have the time and energy to be unfaithful? In my experience, I've known some of these, mostly in the military. Their spouse is doing 90% of the parenting while they fuck around. My ex decided to cheat while he was on TDY for trainings, and then while he was deployed, took less than 2 weeks before he started cheating each time he went away. And I stayed home taking care of our daughter, not knowing he was doing anything. But the bastard was stupid enough to film his cheating and leave it on his phone. By not giving a fuck about their families and claiming to be working all the time. Source, having been the kid whose dad was unfaithful to his mom, and, it turned out, much more involved in the life of his mistress's kid than his own. I wonder this all the time. I imagine they're just a neglectful spouse and parent that's making the other person do all the work. So they're a low-quality human by every metric. Found out a few months ago that the father of one of the guys I knew as a kid was discovered having an entire second family, like a woman and 4 kids that were all his, and he supported financially and lived with while on business trips. I was disgusted, but that wasn't even the thing I most felt. The thing I felt the most upon hearing that was utter exhaustion. I have 1 wife and 2 kids, and I am with you, OP. I don't know how the fuck anyone can have the same and be like, y'all know what I need? A whole other family to raise too. Even trying to seriously contemplate it just makes me want to take a nap. My husband was going to work very early in the morning, telling me he had to be there early, then leaving early in the afternoon to see someone, managing to be home on time. If you're determined to be an asshole, you'll find a way. What are some really dark concepts in kids' shows that were presented as light and trivial? In Rugrats, Chucky's mom passed away not long after he was born. It's implied she had cancer while she was pregnant and chose not to get treated for fear chemo would hurt Chucky in the womb. There's a whole Mother's Day episode where Chaz decides Chucky is ready to start talking about what happened, and they read a letter from his mom together. In Hey Arnold, Helga's mom was played as being aloof for laughs, but was all but stated to be an alcoholic, complete with needing her smoothies and being sleepy and tired all the time instead of saying she's hungover. And there was a bit where Helga said that her mom had gotten a job, I forget the specifics, and Arnold was like, wow, that's great. Did she get her license back? It wasn't a show, but I found it crazy how they made an animated kids movie about Anastasia Romanoff. Like, the real Anastasia was shot to death along with her whole family in a basement, and then a crazy woman pretends to be her and claims that she somehow escaped the murder of her family. All of Danny Phantom. The main character is a half-dead 14-yo whose power is to die on command. His parents don't know he's half-dead because he's scared of them, ripping him apart, molecule by molecule, which is a direct quote said by the parents about his ghost half that is said in the show. His arch-nemesis is a 40-something yo who is also the only other one like him. Both the main character and his arch-nemesis were half-killed by the parents' stupidity with their ghost portal invention. I could go on. SpongeBob's Rock Bottom episode was basically a lesson in existential dread for kids. The bus never comes, and you're stuck in a weird place forever. Childhood innocence meets silent terror. I got hit in the parenting feels recently when watching the new Chicken Run movie. While another hen is being killed and processed in a nugget machine, Ginger puts her hands over her daughter's ears and tells her, "Look at me and don't look away," to keep her from seeing or hearing it. What are the best last words in history? The almost final words of writer Roald Dahl were, "I'm not frightened, it's just that I will miss you all so much," to his family. After appearing to fall unconscious, the nurse then injected him with morphine to ease his passing, and he said his actual last words, "Oh fuck." Just before hanging, French aristocrat Marquis de Favras read his death warrant and commented, "I see that you have made 3 spelling errors." There is an apocryphal story about the last words of jazz drummer Buddy Rich. As he was being prepped for surgery, the nurse asked him if there was anything he was allergic to. He replied, "Yeah, country music." He never recovered from the surgery and died a couple weeks later. I'm well done on this side. Turn me over. Lawrence, while being burned to death on a gridiron. A 17-year-old Yugoslavian girl, Lepa Radic, was caught fighting the Nazis. As they hung a noose around her neck, they offered her a reprieve if she were to give up her co-conspirators. She responded by telling them she was not a traitor and that they would reveal themselves when they avenged her death. They couldn't hit an elephant at this distance. Union General John Sedgwick. Whatever Einstein said in German, when his nurse didn't speak it, the fact that we will never know is kind of tragic, yet kind of cool. Which compliment has struck you the most? My dad once told me I have the perfect personality. It was a throwaway line while discussing something else, but it's embarrassing how much it meant to me. You're the most decent person I've ever met, from my ex's mother in her apology for her daughter leaving me for another man. Around 2017, I made it a point to improve myself, started eating better, decided to bike everywhere instead of drive, and also started using skincare products / high-quality hair care products. Might sound weird for a guy, but I liked how I looked. Fast forward to 2019, I slimmed down from over 300 pounds to 210, with much better complexion and appearance overall. While walking to work one day, a girl passes me on her bike and gives me a quick glance. A moment later, she hit the brakes, turning around to stop in front of me. She said, "Oh my God, your hair is beautiful. Oh my God, your eyes are beautiful." I thanked her, and she carried on. I practically floated the rest of the way to work. I was so damn happy. I've fallen off hard since then, and I fell back into bad habits. But I still think about that compliment years later. A Redditor recently told me the world needs me on it for as long as possible. Actually meant a lot to me. Edit. Shout out to Yeehaw Years 8889 for this compliment. I am an elementary teacher who specializes in intervention for students who are not at grade level yet. I was supporting a class early in the year as they worked on a standardized test to determine their baseline math skills. Midway through, I noticed a student getting teary. I sat alongside this student, who is a bright student that struggles with maintaining attention. I encouraged her to do her best, offered a lot of breaks, and in general, tried to keep her moving along, but feeling positive. At the end, she told me, "I really love working with you because you care about me and don't make me feel like I'm doing something wrong." It was a great reminder about giving students what they really need, which is not always about supporting the content, but supporting the person. A girl once told me that "You're a Man" written by female authors. You'd be a great dad, told to me by 2 wildly different people, years apart for completely different reasons. Have you ever cheated on the person you love? Why? All the people commenting here to be needlessly cruel instead of answering your question. OP, love of my life. I was depressed and drinking a lot, and my mental health was in the toilet. I thought something different would make me happier, and I didn't want to hurt him because he is the best man I know. This is not an excuse. There is no excuse, and I will regret it for the rest of my life. I deserve the hurt I feel losing him. I ended up ending things with him and never told him because he deserves better, and he is happier now. Nope. Everybody I knew who cheated seriously regretted it. I don't want that to be my story. I got a great wife. The world can have everyone else. Yes, in 1993, she cheated on me first with my supposedly best friend. I chose the obvious get-even route of cheating on her in return. Needless to say, the subsequent divorce in 1994 didn't resolve the issue. I still think about my first wife to this day and wonder what if. It was truly a turning point in my life at that point and was a major course correction for me and my outlook on the future. I didn't get involved in another long-term relationship until 1999 as a result. However, I got married in 2000 and remained so in that relationship to this day. celebrating 24 years of marriage this year. In Skyrim, I was in a loveless marriage with a woman in Windhelm. I was mainly with her for the house to behe. She was kinda a bitch. Like one time I went, I was hungry. Do you have something cooked up? And she went, I should be the one asking you for things. Then I met a 20,000-year-old vampire princess named Serana, who was actually pleasant to be around. Thank you everyone for being there for me. This is my first night in my house alone. I have been with this man for 5 years. He is my first true love for sure. Today I was talking to a woman we both know. I was describing the night we had yesterday. How my breath is constantly taken away by this guy. How I've never felt so secure. I told her I came home from work yesterday to candles lit, the setup for my usual back massages, he dipped strawberries, and had a lineup of movies for the night. I woke up today and cried because I was so in love. I couldn't believe that for 5 years this guy has shown me this love. And the woman I'm telling breaks down into tears because she had found out a few days ago what he had been up to. My heart shatters every time I think about it. I've had multiple exes cheat on me and actually said it wasn't anything I could have done to prevent it. They also still wanted to stay in a relationship and say they were in love with me despite cheating. Here were some of their reasons and their wordings from memory. X1. I want to marry you one day, but we are so young and I wanted to have my cake and eat it too. He cheated on me one time, to my knowledge. X2. I did it because I was insecure. You are better looking and everyone tells me I'm batting above my average with you. I also hate how every man stares at you wherever we go, even hand in hand, and still don't care. I wanted to feel attractive to other girls and not just by you. He cheated on me throughout the entire relationship. X3. We weren't officially together. Mind you, I had met his whole family, gone to events with him, held his hand everywhere we went, and he spoke about having a future with me. We were 24 at the time, so didn't think we had to do the whole "are we official yet" thing, since I thought it was self-explanatory. We also discussed having deep feelings for each other. Anyway, he cheated on me on a holiday, and when he got back, he hits me with the "we weren't official, but now that I'm back and got it out of my system, will you be my girlfriend?" LMFAO. So there we go. Well, that's another episode of Ask Reddit in the books. I really appreciate all of you who made it this far into the video. Of course, if you enjoyed this video, it would really help the channel out a lot if you gave the video a thumbs up, subscribe, or leave a comment down below. I hope that you enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time.